All right, let's get right into it. In the absolutely brutal world of fantasy football playoffs, nothing, and I mean nothing, is guaranteed. And this week, wow, the whole league was just turned on its head. Former champions dethroned. Underdogs, they rose to the occasion. So by the end of this, one thing is for sure: a new king will be crowned. So, how did this all shake out? Well, first, we're going to watch the old guard completely crumble. Then, we'll dive into the championship hunt and the upsets that just busted everyone's brackets. After that, we'll flip the script and look at the equally intense battle at the bottom. And finally, we'll set the stage for the epic final matchups that are going to decide everything. Okay, the headline story this week. It's a seismic shift in power. You know, the old guard has been completely and totally dismantled. From the penthouse to the outhouse, both of last year's champions have been eliminated. That means we are guaranteed to be crowning two new kings this season. Let's start right at the top. Last year's league champion, Lichty's Salty Balls, well, they saw their title defense come to a stunning and, frankly, decisive end. Their journey for a repeat? It is officially over. And in what is just a crazy bit of symmetry, last year's toilet bowl champion, the Neptune Crack Killers, they've also been sent packing. The takeaway here is massive, you guys. It's a total reset. We're getting a new league champion, and we're getting a new shit king. So, let's jump over to the championship bracket and see exactly how this happened. Because this round wasn't just about advancing. No. It was about massive, bracket-busting upsets that I don't think anyone saw coming. First up, you had the 5th-seeded Used-to-Be's taking on the defending champs, the 4th-seeded Lichty's Salty Balls. You know, on paper, you'd think, hey, this is going to be a close matchup. In reality, it was a completely different story. And just look at this chart. It shows you just how lopsided this was. We're talking a nearly 50-point drubbing by the underdog. As the source material put it, this was not exactly a close affair. The champs were playing from behind from the absolute opening kickoff. So how did they pull off this demolition job? Well, it started with a massive bang on Thursday Night Football. Kyle Pitts, yes, that Kyle Pitts, went completely nuclear, dropping a 42-point bomb on the champs. You add in huge games from James Cook and that Ravens defense, and this was just an unstoppable force marching straight into the semifinals. Now, if you thought that was a shock, the second playoff game delivered an even bigger shockwave. Here we had the 6th seed go to bed, a team that literally clawed its way into the playoffs, taking on the 3rd seed and, the preseason favorite, the Wildwood Warthogs. This quote really says it all. The Warthogs, a team that everybody expected to make a really deep run, put up a measly 103 points. For a team that lost its way out of a first-round bye, this early exit, man, that's got to be a tough pill to swallow. So how did the 6th seed do it? It was all about solid, clutch performances when it mattered most. Nico Collins and a monster game from the Chicago Bears defense gave them more than enough firepower to lock down one of the biggest upsets of the entire season. Okay, let's switch gears and talk about the other side of the bracket, where the stakes are just as high, but for completely different reasons. This is the toilet bowl. This is the desperate fight to avoid the ultimate shame of finishing dead last. In our first matchup here, the Bayshore Buzzards took on Team Nash. And while the Buzzards got the win thanks to an unbelievable 58-point game from Trevor Lawrence, the real story here is the epic collapse of Team Nash. 8. That's 8 straight losses. This isn't just a losing streak, folks. It is a historic collapse. They have now set a new league record for futility. And wow, it could not have come at a worse time. This team is in what the source perfectly describes as an absolute tailspin. They are crashing and burning their way right into the last place game, just one loss away from being crowned the league's shit king, the title absolutely nobody wants. So the other toilet bowl game saw Benny's and the Jets take down the Neptune Crack Killers. And just like their championship counterpart, this meant the defending toilet bowl champ was officially out of the running. The symmetry is just wild. The Jets rode a huge performance from the Eagles' defense to get that victory. Now, the Crack Killers, they got a monster game from Bijan Robinson, but he was basically a one-man show. The rest of his team just went missing in action, punching their ticket straight to the last place game. So after a week of absolute chaos, the dust has finally settled, and our final matchups are set. Let's look ahead to Championship Week, where 4 incredibly high-stakes games are going to decide everything. So here they are, the finals. In the championship semis, you've got the 1-seed Jenks Vodka and OJ facing the ultimate underdog, Go To Bed. In the other game, the 2-seed AI Fantasy Bot takes on the giant-slaying Used-to-Bees. For the Toilet Bowl Championship, it's a rematch of last year's semis between the Buzzards and the Jets. And finally, the last place game, it pits two historic losing streaks against each other, the Crack Killers versus Team Nas. I mean, every single game has an amazing story. You know, this quote right here, it just perfectly captures the spirit of this postseason. It's the story of the go-to-bed team, right? A team that barely snuck into the playoffs only to knock out the preseason favorite. It is the ultimate reminder that in the playoffs, truly, anything can happen. And that's the setup for the final act. We've got 2 brackets, 2 final games. A new champion will be crowned, and a new shit king will be anointed. The only question left is, who is going to seize the glory, and who is going to be left with all the shame?